All right, good morning everyone. Welcome to our Learn to Crow Arm Balance Workshop. Thank you for joining me today. I'll be on camera in just a second here. I'm just getting my props ready. So for today, all you'll need is, if you have blocks, that's great. If you have a strap, perfect. You can always use a belt if you don't have a strap. I'm going to use my bolster here. You can use pillows. If you're new to this, especially use pillows. You can stack them. Blocks are great. This pillow's got some drywall dust. There you go. And my strap here. Dudley's chosen to join us today as well. So we've got all our props here. I got my strap, I've got my blocks, I've got my pillows. So we're ready to go. So to get started, we're just going to do some drills. I'm going to move my props out of the way. And we're going to start with some active child's pose. So coming into your tabletop position, feet uncurled, tops of the feet flat on the mat. We're just going to arch the back into that cat pose and send your hips back down to your heels. And just feel the stretch in your lower back. And when you come down, so come back up to tabletop, and when you come down, you're actively pulling your belly button towards your spine. So you're sucking that in, you're arching your back up, and sending the heels back towards, or certainly sending your glutes back to your heels. Good, come back up. And release. Inhale, cat pose, and then sink back to the heels. And coming back up. And arch into cat, and fall back into child's pose. Coming back up. And tucking the tailbone under, or pulling the belly button towards the spine, and sinking back to where we did. Just keeping that core activated. This will help you when it comes to crow, keeping that core stability to keep your toes and feet above the ground. I think we're going to have a visit by both dogs today. All right, come back to tabletop. We'll release that. We're going to move into, let me just move this out of the way a little bit more. Move into some downward dog to plank and knee to elbow stretches. Dudley, stop it. Stop. It's enough. Elbows go way down. Come on. Hi. Hello. Yes, okay. Hi. All right. So we have some visitors. Stop. Not playtime. Okay. Sorry, excuse me for 1 second. It seems to be repetitive. Come on. Stop. Go upstairs. Come on. Upstairs. Let's go. Come on. There we go. Go. Sorry about that. All right. So, they're not so bad when they're one, but when they're together, they play and they wrestle and they like to do it right in front of the camera. So we're coming up into a plank, pressing back into downward dog. Send your right foot up, bend the knee, and as you come forward, bringing the right knee to the right elbow. Sending it back up, bending the knee, coming back down, right knee, right elbow. Repeat that a few times. And then coming back down, sending it back up, and then coming back down, and back up, and back down. And we'll just change it up a little bit here. So we're going to go up, right knee to left elbow, sending it back up, right knee, left wrist, sending it back up, right knee, right wrist, sending it back up, right knee, right elbow, and back up. And as we come down, we're going to come back to the right knee, right elbow, shift across to the left elbow, lowering down left wrist, across right wrist, back up right elbow, and back up. And we'll do that 2 more times. Create that box. And last one. And good. Place the right foot down. Pillow the feet here. And when you're ready, raising the left foot up. Bending the left knee, left elbow. Sending it back up. Left knee, left elbow. And back up. Knee to elbow. Back up. And back up. And last one, left knee, left elbow. And back up. Left knee, left wrist. Back up. Left knee, right wrist. Back up. Left knee, left elbow. Back up. Left knee, left elbow. Back up. And now we're going to create those boxes again. So left knee, left elbow. Lower down left wrist. Cross to right wrist. Up right elbow. Back to left elbow. And back up. And we'll repeat that 2 more times. That in left knee. Left elbow. Left wrist. Right wrist. Right elbow, back. And last one, left knee, left elbow, left wrist, right elbow, left elbow, and back up. Good. So coming back to your tabletop here, just stretch it out, push back to take child's pose for a second here. Take a couple breaths. My body's already warm today. I took my dogs out for a walk this morning, and we had to trudge through about a foot of snow to about a foot and a half of snow, depending on where we were. And I came back and had to shovel the driveway. So when you're ready, coming out of your table or your child's pose, and getting yourself into a Malasana frog squat, we're just going to sit here for a minute. Use your elbows to push your knees apart and further stretch the hips a little bit. Just going to stay here for a couple breaths. And then we'll move into some frog squats, like active squats. So you're actively pressing in. You can bring your hands into prayer and actively press your elbows into between your knees there, giving yourself a bit more of a stretch. All right, and when you're ready, you can place the hands down in front of you, sending the hips up toward the sky, and then sinking back down. And up, and back down. Send them up, sink back down, lift the hips up, and sink back down, lift the hips up, and sink back down. And last one, send the hips up and sink back down. Good. All right, so now we're just going to move into some wrist exercises, warm up the wrists, get them ready to support your full body weight. So for the first one, we're actually just going to place the hands down in front of you. You can come into a tabletop position to start. Hands down in front of you, spread the fingers nice and wide apart. And you want to have that position for the arm balance where you're creating almost like a suction with your hands. So your fingertips are spread, they're pressing very firmly into the mat. And you want to hold that position as we now rock forward. And you can shift your weight forward and back. Just stretching out the wrists, getting them ready there to work and support us. And the next one you're going to do, you're going to turn the hands around so the fingertips point towards you. And you're going to do the same. You're going to pull back sink back to the hips a little bit. Okay, and releasing the hands, you're going to flip them over so that the top of your hand is flat on your mat. I'm only going to do this on my right one because my left one is a little bit of a mess. So when you sink it, you're going to place the top of the hand down onto the mat, and you're just going to sink backward and just rock it a little bit. Good. Okay, from here, just going to sit on the heels or sit on your butt, whatever you like, whatever you prefer. And I'm just going to roll the wrists out a little bit. Good. So they should be nice and warm now. You can give yourself spirit fingers if you like. And then just shake them out, and we're just about ready to start. So again, just like we were in our wrist warm-up, you're going to place the hands down in front of you. Actively spreading those fingers apart, gripping the fingertips into the mat, creating that nice suction that's going to give you all the support that you need to balance in your curl. Secondly, you're going to come up, and you're going to bend your knees and sink them into your armpit. Now, if you're new to crow, you can actually widen, come into your Malasana and place your knees outside your triceps. So depending on where you are in your practice, if you want the easier balance, you can keep the knees spread outside for more balance, or you can bring them in toward the armpits. And then then you just come forward. So just from this position here, make sure you're not looking directly at your hands. So you want your gaze to be just about a foot ahead of your hands. So it should be a natural gaze downwards, like straight ahead as you shift forward. If you gaze towards your hands, you're probably going to fall towards your hands. So hands down, fingers spread, fingertips gripping the mat, knees to armpits or just outside your triceps, depending on where you are. And then we're just going to come forward. You've got your drishti, so you're looking forward. Maybe grab your pillow. We're not doing a lift off just yet, but you can always place your pillow there just for your own safety, your own comfort, so that if you feel like you're going to fall, I mean, you're probably going to fall. So if you're going to feel more comfortable having a pillow there and it makes you a little bit more confident, place the pillow down. So our next step here, after we place our hands down, fingers are spread, fingertips into the mat, gripping on there like that nice suction cup, knees into the armpits, leaning forward, drishti ahead, and you're just going to start lifting your toes up off the ground. One at a time. Just alternating one foot to the other. Okay. Now you can do this with props as well, and we'll get into that after. But pretty much from here, we're just going to play with balance. So you've got your, again, hands down into the mat. You've got your suction created there, knees into the armpits or slightly outside. Out here, that's up to you. We're just going to start. my quads there are a little tight from yesterday. So now we're just going to start playing with balance. So we're just going to start leaning forward until you almost feel that lift off. So you're playing with balance. Just lean forward just slightly. You're not bringing your toes off the mat just yet, but you want to feel that difference in the balance. So whether your knees are out here or in your armpits, either way it's fine. And we're just playing with that balance. Oh, my quads are burning. All right. Next, we're going to move into the full lift off. So again, you're just leaning forward. You can go one at a time if you want. And you're just leaning forward slowly, looking at about a foot ahead of your hands there. And when you're ready, you take your toes up off the ground. And just play with that balance. you may only want to hold it, you may only be able to hold it for a couple seconds at a time when it starts. And that's totally fine. You're playing with balance, you're learning balance, and you're building up core and stability strength. So with regular practice, your hold times will obviously get better. I'm going to start showing you some alternate ways to do this with props. If you're having a hard time keeping your arms locked in position, you can use a strap to help with that. So let me just get this. So you can continue playing with your crow there, with the balance and leaning forward while I get this set up. And when you do have your crow, you can actually work on your full crane when it becomes more comfortable. That's actually too tight, obviously. So you want to be able to have that strap so that when you're coming forward, your elbows won't be able to splay outward. So this is actually too big. So you can wrap that around your bicep, tricep area, so that once you're when you're in that position and you're holding yourself up, your arms cannot go anywhere. It locks you in better. So this is with the strap. So my knees are at my armpits, my hands are down. I've got that nice suction. My drishti is ahead. I'm leaning forward until I feel that shift in balance, and I bring my feet up and hold. And you can play with times and everything else as you get better at that. Hold times. I'm not holding a lot of things right now very much because of my wrist, but it's definitely a way to improve. Second way you can improve here is with blocks. So if you have a lot of tightness in your hamstrings and coming down to the floor to put your knees towards your armpits is too hard, you can elevate yourself here with your blocks, either this way or this way, whatever's more comfortable. I like having my full hand on the block, so I like them this way, and then it'll give you a little bit more height to play with when it comes to your crow. So you got a nice little bit of elevation, and you can lift up. And that's something that'll help you if you struggle with flexibility in your hamstrings. So that's not one way to use your blocks. Another way to use your blocks, so you're going to place them this way, and it'll just be something that'll help you figure out positioning. So coming down, you can start here first. So the block should just be underneath your shoulder blades. And then you can place your hands down right behind or right next to them. And then bring your knees upward. It just leaves you, I don't like this one particularly because it leaves you very close to the floor, whereas in your actual balance, you're higher. So, I mean, if you've got more, I only have 2 blocks, but if you have more blocks, you can always stack them. That's always an option for you, but that is one way to help you find balance, but it will also give you some stability, whereas you're not going to fall forward because you're positioned on the actual blocks themselves. So that's another way you can practice your crow. So depending on which way you choose, you can always use blocks and straps. Okay, so we'll just continue with where we've been. So you can choose your way of practicing here, whether it's with the blocks, whether it's with the straps, with the pillow. You can use any of those things. So we'll go back to our hands down, fingers spread, fingertips gripping into the mat so tightly. You're almost trying to pull the mat in toward your palms. Like that's how much you're gripping onto the mat. And then when you come up, knees to armpits, shifting forward. You can do one at a time. And then when you're ready, shifting forward slowly until you feel that balance. And you just lift off. So I hope today was helpful. If you have any, I don't even know if, I'm hoping you can see me there. Maybe I'll do one more, just a little bit more into the middle of that. So again, hands down, fingertips spread, gripping the mat so tightly, and then shifting forward until you feel your balance shift, and then you lift both feet up and play with your balance there. I would extend to full crane, but my wrist doesn't allow for that right now. It's just too much pressure into it. So I hope you enjoyed this arm balance workshop today. I think maybe we can do some more. I don't know which one I will do next time. But if there is an arm balance that you're working on that you can't quite figure out, let me know. Send me a DM, comment here on the post, or however you want to get in touch, and we will work through it. We will figure it out together. The only one I will not help you out with is Firefly, because I'm not there. I don't have the flexibility for that, so I will not teach that one. But yeah, so thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so out of breath, my goodness. Thank you so much for coming and joining me on your mat today. It means a lot to me to share my practice with you and have you here with me on the mat. So I'm so grateful. Reach out anytime you want. If you have any suggestions, any questions, feel free to ask. I'm always here and always open to suggestions. So thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.